Today I'm going to be answering a question that comes from somebody who is over 40, and they asked the question to say, TJ, I am over 40. Is it even worth starting with property now? Well, my good friends, let's talk about it. The elephant is in the room. Let's remove it. Now, here's the reality. And I want to answer the question of this guy here because I do think, by the way, thank you very much for answering this question. I want to say this: if you are above 40 and you are still thinking, is it worth it still investing? You're kind of like asking the question, is property still a good investment now that I'm plus 40? Well, in South Africa, the average person retires with less than 250,000 saved. And yet, we probably need at least about 20,000 Rand per month, provided that the house is paid off. There's no bond in both kids, or not say both kids. I've got 2 kids, so I'm always thinking both kids. And all of your kids are out of the house. So which then also translates into a bulk savings in your retirement of anything between 4 to 5 million for you to live for the next 20 to 25 years. Because post 60, you still have another life, right? So you don't get to retirement and then you die. And this is just on an assumption of about 20 grand. And obviously, if your life is also complicated, a little bit complicated than that, it gets worse. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is TJ, your host, and I'm a former banker and founder here at the TJ Tribe. And I do business with a focus in student accommodation, flips, which is buy and sell, and coaching, with the hope that all of us, as young, upcoming modern parents, we can be able to have passive income from real estate. Welcome to the channel. But here is the problem. Most lenders or most banks in South Africa, they end their term at 60 years. So which then generally then states the fact that because you're already in your 40s, you literally have 20 years, right? So that's the maximum for you to buy and finishing paying off that property, that the one that you're thinking about. You are in a good position. So yes, my good friend, property is still a good investment. And I'm going to break it down for you, why you would think, why you should be thinking that it is a good opportunity for you. So I'm going to go back to that context again to say the perspective of you being at 40, you are obviously maybe, I don't want to say obviously, but if you're in your 40s and you've been got a good head, a screwed on head, right? Is that the right term? The head that's functioning proper, right? And you're in your 40s, you are usually earning the most that you have earned so far, right? So you're making more back in your employment. That's a huge benefit. Your kids may be older. Again, that's a huge benefit because now you got less crash fees. It's more predictable. You know how much Curo and all these other spots are charging you. So you know how much it is, right? And they're potentially nearing to get out of the house if they do get out of the house. And also, you understand risk better. You've been around, like for the last 40 years where you've been. So you've got a bit of experience. And lastly, you are no longer trying to impress, hopefully. But I've seen also 40-year-olds that just impress, right? You are potentially dedicated to results. That's where I would put you if you're in your 40s. If you're thinking straight, that's the perfect mindset of starting building real wealth with property. So I'm going to give you sort of like maybe 4 reasons why property would still work for you if you're in your 40s. And I'm just going to be as truthful as I can because I'm also in my 40s and I'm buying real estate. So why am I buying? 2 of my partners, they're close to their 50s and they're doing well. My youngest partner is in his late 30s. So, why are we still doing this? First one is that we can still be able to leverage bond, home loans, we can still be able to leverage that. We can leverage that because we've got pay slips. So the moment you've got a pay slip, you can have what is called a bond leverage. That works, my good friends. Banks still love you. At this moment, you're potentially in the private, what do they call those banking categories again? It's not private wealth. Not if you're in the 40s, you can't be in your private wealth now. You are in a private banker. Yes, you are a private banker. Yeah. And hopefully you are jumping into private wealth, so they like you. Now, if you can get a 15 to maybe like 30-year bond, 20 would be like, the maximum, especially if your income is stable and your expenses are reasonable. Obviously, you need to do this whilst your affordability is still high. Number two. So number one, I gave it to you, bond leverage, right? Because obviously the banks still like you. Number two is property can replace your pension. Are you serious, TJ? Yes, I'm going to show you how. Let's say you buy a flat. You're not going the TJ route. You're not like coming to school. You're just one of those bras that are like, lazy and you just, you got an income. These guys. Now, I'm assuming you're that guy, ne? This is what I'm going to do for you. For today, I'm going to say to you, just buy a flat for 600,000. It's not a lot of money. The bank is obviously going to give that to you on ease. 600,000, rent it for 5,000. TJ, are you seriously saying that they should? What about the difference? This guy doesn't want to come to learn. I'm not talking about you guys who are coming to learn. I'm talking about the guy, the lazy guy, ne? That guy, right? Nonetheless, 600,000, somebody else is paying 5 grand for you. That's a huge chunk already, okay? You buy 3 of those. Yes, you are chipping in some money. Yes, you are subsidizing on levies. By the time you are 50, or should I say by the time you are hitting 65, all of them have been paid off, right? So which means that not only are you getting 15,000 rand, obviously we're looking at it without inflation and all of those things. We're just saying that today's rates will be 10 rates, right? So now you're making 15,000, and this is before tax. My good friends, you are not in the SASSA queue. You're not. Remember, you got your house that's paid off, and you got these 3 houses that's paid off. And if your wife was doing the same thing, both of you are on 30 grand. I'm just saying that real estate works whether you are lazy, whether you want to work harder. Some of us will want to work harder. That's why we're in the first lane of real estate. But there are some of you who are like, Well, but I want to say to you, that's the kind of pension our parents never had. I'm going to say that again. Even if we're to bring in inflation on all of these conversations that we've had, you can hear my tone is like a serious tone, eh? Yeah. I want to say to you that that's the kind of pension our parents never had. Now, how about you, my good friend? You change that. Point number 3. Let's jump on to point number 3. We are still talking about doing things differently for men over 40. You can build equity whilst you are sleeping. Build equity while you sleep. So with every monthly payment that you're going to be doing, you're already building ownership. Let's assume those 3 properties, the 600,000 properties that we spoke about, right? So in about 10 years to come, and this generally happens across board, in 10 years time, you own a property, your tenants are paying it off for you, about 50 to 60% of your bond has been wiped out. Somebody else is paying it for you. Now, what can you do? You can refinance, you can sell, or you can just sit and collect income. Isn't it? Right? If you refinance, you can maybe buy more properties. Or maybe you are now clever. You've come to school. And at that time you can say, well, I now have a bit of cash. I'm clever. Let me go beyond. Does it make sense, my good friends? My name is TJ. I'm trying to help you here. Hey, my friends, I apologize that I had to break this conversation, but I just wanted to bring you in this conversation of property management. This can become such a hassle. If you've got more than one tenant and they're in different places, this can really become a stress, because all you're now needing to do is to manage tenant issues, maintenance calls, late payments sometimes, and endless paperwork. So my good friends, I have been deploying all my properties to a company that is called Productive Realty. They are out in Boksburg, and all they do is manage properties, particularly for early investors, particularly for seasoned investors, actually for all investors. And they do this because they themselves, they are also investors in properties. They understand the game of investing and managing. The money is not made in buying properties. I always say to people, the money is made in the management of the actual property, because that's a lifelong, you need to be able to pay all the things that you need to pay for. So the company Productive Realty, my good friends, and Leroy Slava, he has a big team there, and they manage their portfolio, and they can also manage your portfolio. So if you're in and around Johannesburg, particularly in the east, they are readily available to actually just be able to jump on board and take over your properties wherever it is right now. They will do placements for you. All of these things that we spoke about, the tenant issues, all of that will be gone, because Productive Realty will be able to manage that for you. So my good friends, all you need to do is drop us an email. You can see where it is here, and the team at Productive Realty will be able to take all of your hassles away from your tenants, and you can be able to have peace of mind, sleep, hassle-free investments whilst they are managing all your tenants for you. So what are you waiting for? Be like me and jump onto Productive Realty. Let the guys help you out. Point number 4, let's jump onto it. Point number 4, your outcome is freedom. Right? That's what you're chasing after. I want to bring in another word that's called dignity. Right? If you're not in that age group where dignity is a thing, many of us don't see it. So what is dignity? Many of you don't maybe understand what the word dignity is. Now, imagine you are now hustling and you're now in your 70s. You're still hustling. We know those uncles. Don't pretend like you don't have any of those uncles. And you are asking your kids for airtime money. You are asking your kids for, you become the manipulator in the family for just getting resources to get you by. I also have a family, so I see these things. Because you don't have your own income. So let's be honest, my good friends, our biggest fear is probably not to die broke, but our biggest fear, I think, for many of us, including myself, is living broke. I don't want to be at 60 and then I'm like, my son, 50 rand. I want to say to you, property gives you the chance to exit the system with dignity. Now that's dignity, my good friends. TJ, you know what? If I raise my kids, they also need to now look after me when I'm old. Whew. Really? Do they? Where is it written that they should? Look, it's good. I looked after my mom. Well, no, let me not say I. My wife was involved. My wife and I, we looked after my mom. Like, when she got married to me, she knew already I was looking after my mom. There's no discussion. So we just continued, put her on the budget. And then later on, she moved in with us 5 years, 6 years, she stayed with us until Jesus called her. Now, my good friends, I was not forced to. But I know of other people that have turned back on their on their parents. For years, they've just moved on. So what if your kids move on? Where are you going to be? Sasa? Guys. Now, imagine this. You are 65. You own these 3 flats that we spoke about. These are the small things, guys. Some of you have Harleys that are like R1 million. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to judge. I look, but I don't judge. Now let's come back to it. You're 65. You're owning 3 flats and a small student accommodation. Yeah. And they're all paid off. And your primary home is paid off. You're potentially earning around about 20, let's just call it 20 to 30,000 net, right, in rental income. And you're living on your paid off home, so that's okay. And you help out your grandkids at the time. Your kids are not, you are not a burden to your kids, but you're actually helping your kids. They are going to love you. You don't need to go to them and like, could I have money for gas? No, you come to them and like, I brought you some stuff. You even help out your grandkids with school fees. You can like take a December holiday, or even like a July holiday, Christmas in July or something like that. Go to the coast. Yeah, you're 60, you're 75. I don't know. To me, that's retirement with honor. Not because you're lucky, but because you made a plan in your 40s. That's the difference. Now I want to say to you this, my friends. I want to say this categorically. I want to say this with humility, with a heart big for you. Don't let anyone make you feel like you've missed your shot. You didn't miss out anything. Yes, you're in your 40s. Yes, you're in your 40s. It's not too late. It's just time to play it smart, or smarter, if I may call it that. I'm also in my 40s something myself, and my parents were, actually my mom was on a government grant. Yeah, she was on $5 at one point. Yeah, and on that $5, it was about $1 going to the offices. So it was $2 to go and pick it up. So she was getting $3. At one point I asked her, why are you going to pick it up? But anyway, I want to say this to you. Nobody handed me a trust fund or a title deed. All that you see, my good friends, I've worked for it, my wife and I, together with my partners. But God has made a plan. He put that plan in my hands, and my job now is to steward. Stewardship is my new thing. Right? I was speaking to my good friend Luke, and he says to me, whoever can be trusted with little can also be trusted with much. And I am seeing that it's time I am becoming more stewardship. In the little things, the good Lord is just saying, well done, and he's just giving me more. So number one, I'm going to give you 3 things. Let's steward well. That's number 1. Let's invest and let's build. This is your boy, TJ. We'll see you on the next video right here at the TJ Tribe. Boom.